Dallas Riley is 3 years old with no known diagnosis. She has a mom named Anita and a dad named Tori. She has a 6-year-old sister named Story and a 6-year-old brother named Amir, who are twins, and a 15-year-old brother named MJ. Her reason for referral is that her parents are seeking outpatient OT services to address concerns surrounding her abilities to clean up after herself, tolerate getting her hair done, brushing her teeth, and sharing with her siblings. Some background knowledge of Dallas: that she lives with both of her parents and her 3 older siblings in Massachusetts. She attends church services with her family every week and participates in a children's youth group. Dallas's father works full-time and her mother works 3 days a week, and she stays with her grandmother or aunt on the days her mother is working. Dallas is described as a very friendly girl and has great routines. She loves playing with dolls, fake food, and Play-Doh. She also loves being outdoors with her family and eating candy. We really focused on using MOHO, or the model of human occupation, to guide our interventions and sessions by including Dallas's roles, routines, and interests to develop interventions that are appropriate and best suited for her. We also kept the intentional relationship model in mind by using our therapeutic use of self to help build the relationship between us and Dallas and even her family. Some frames of references we used throughout this was a developmental frame of reference, where we observed Dallas and compared her developmental skills and milestones to other children her age to keep track of progress or note of any delays. And also the sensory frame of reference to figure out what her sensory processing skills look like and what she favored, and what type of sensory processing she is that could affect her daily occupations and daily routines. Some family-centered considerations were understanding the family dynamic, or like roles, expectations, or routines that can really help identify the foundation of the family so we can provide family-centered care. Some universal design considerations is hosting sessions in the family's home and using materials and toys within the home. This will eliminate physical barriers and provide equal access to care and OT services. Research foundation that helped guide our clinical judgment was that it is seen that the relationship between a caregiver and child helps the child's identity formation. So we really prioritize the relationship between Dallas and her mom and dad, and this helped us establish family-centered care. And also it's seen that school readiness includes access to opportunities to develop skills and knowledge to prepare for academic success. So throughout our evaluation sessions, we kept track of environmental barriers and access that could affect the opportunities for Dallas to develop these crucial skills. The assessments that we chose to use with Dallas include the Canadian Occupational Performance Measure, or the COPM. This assesses self-care skills, productivity, leisure, and daily functioning levels. The next assessment we use is the Test of Playfulness, or the TOP. This measures playfulness from observations of engagement, motivation, social skills, and creativity. Next is the Child Sensory Profile 2. This assesses sensory processing behaviors and patterns. And lastly, we use the Pediatric Volitional Questionnaire, or the PVQ. And this assesses the child's volition by identifying motivational support, activities of interest, and environmental access and limitations. Our first evaluation session included an introduction, the completion of the COPM from the mother, a session 2 overview, and a wrap-up. And this was done on FaceTime with Dallas's mother. One memorable aspect of eval session 1 was the completion of the COPM. Through this, we learned Dallas's routines and habits, personal interests, and areas of concern. Her mom shared stories of Dallas and the specific tasks that were challenging to her. And it was also the first time Nicole and myself met Dallas's mom. Some key takeaways from this eval session was that building trust with the client and family is crucial for OT sessions, and practicing a strong and confident introduction to ourselves in OT will help us justify the need for OT services.
Our second session consisted of an introduction, as this is Nicole's first time meeting Dallas, the PVQ, the top, the sensory profile 2, and a wrap-up. Dallas and her mother were both present, as well as her twin siblings for some of the session. Through the top, we got to observe Dallas playing with some of her favorite toys, such as Barbies, Play-Doh pizzas for her customers, and more. Some key takeaways included building our confidence while remaining engaged with Dallas over FaceTime. It also allowed Dallas's personality to come out. Another key takeaway was remaining flexible in certain situations, such as when we first FaceTimed Anita, she was driving in the car because they were late to the session. Some key findings of the COPM were that Anita would like Dallas to let her help her brush her teeth, as well as reduce yelling or crying behaviors while she's doing her hair. She would also like Dallas to share with her siblings more and pick up after herself without being told to. For overall performance, Anita rates Dallas at an average of 6.25 and for satisfaction with performance at an average of 7.75. For the PVQ, Dallas scored the highest in exploration as she demonstrated mostly spontaneous behaviors. For competency, Dallas scored a 3.2, which is involved, and a 3.5 for achievement, which is a mix of involved and spontaneous. A total score shows Dallas between involved and spontaneous in those domains. For the top, Dallas scored an average of 2.6 for extent, intensity, and skill, meaning that she demonstrates the key features of those domains much of the time to almost always. It is important to note that the skill average score is slightly different because the enters a group already engaged in an activity was not applicable to the setting we were in. The scores were adjusted to reflect that. The sensory profile showed that Dallas is just like the majority of others in most of the categories, except in the sensitivity sensor domain and the registration bystander domain, which she is less than others in. Dallas demonstrates many strengths, as shown by her high scores in the PVQ and the top in relation to play participation. She also doesn't demonstrate significant sensory differences, as we thought, based on her behaviors displayed during her hair care. In terms of analysis of occupational performance, Dallas participates in many occupations such as in play, feeding, and family and community participation. For play, she actively participates in a variety of solo and group play. She enjoys using her Play-Doh, her play kitchen with pretend food, coloring, and playing with dolls. In terms of feeding, Anita reports that Dallas is not picky and loves to try new foods. In terms of community participation, she enjoys going to her Sunday church group and enjoys activities and trips with her family. For challenges related to occupations, she demonstrates difficulties with personal hygiene and grooming, as she doesn't like getting her hair done and does not like assistance with brushing her teeth. She also displays difficulties in home management, as she requires constant reminders to help clean up her toys. For performance patterns, Dallas demonstrates good morning, daytime, and nighttime routines. She also plays the role of a younger sibling and the youngest daughter in the family. And for rituals, Anita reports that Dallas and her family pray every day together. For barriers to routines, Anita reports that Dallas gets her hair done once a week, and it is difficult for her to complete that task as she cries and yells during the hair routine. For performance skills, Dallas demonstrates many strengths in motor, process, and social interaction skills, such as being able to grip and manipulate her toys, being able to attend to the tasks she's completing, such as playing with her toys, and social interaction skills in which she's able to produce speech and speak fluently. For barriers to performance skills, Dallas requires many verbal cues to restore her toys after playing, and she often screams at her siblings and displays difficulties expressing her emotions. For client factors, Dallas values spending time with her family, and for beliefs in spirituality, Dallas believes in God and prays with her family very often. For analysis of context and environment, Dallas has supportive parents and siblings. She also has other extended family, such as her cousins, aunts, uncles, grandparents, who live in the city that help watch her. She also has access to technology on her tablet and Wi-Fi, in which she likes to watch YouTube videos on. And for personal factors, Dallas is still young. She's 3 years old and still has a lot of growth to make and progress to make. And for individual psychological assets, Dallas is described as very outgoing and willing to try new things. The following are some safety considerations. Since Dallas likes to be outside with her family and ride bikes, we would like to ensure that she is safe in doing so, while also recommending safer areas for her to ride and play outside in. Since Dallas is described as social, we would want to make her aware of the dangers of communicating with strangers. Lastly, since she has access to her tablet and watches YouTube videos, we would want to educate her parents on parental controls. At this time, Dallas does not qualify for OT services due to her independence in her age-appropriate daily occupations and participation in routines. She does not appear to have severe behaviors, developmental delays, or inability to participate in meaningful activities. 3 long-term goals include: within 5 months, Dallas will demonstrate appropriate self-regulation techniques with indirect verbal cues when playing with her siblings 4 out of 5 opportunities to promote engagement in play-based activities. The next goal is, within 5 months, Dallas will independently allow her mother to do her hair and assist her with brushing her teeth without demonstrating behaviors such as crying and yelling to support participation in hygiene and grooming. The final long-term goal is, within 5 months, Dallas will share her toys with her siblings 4 out of 5 opportunities with no more than 1 verbal cue from an adult to promote social participation and readiness for preschool. In conclusion, prioritizing the family relationships and dynamic is helpful when establishing family-centered care. We also had the opportunity to be creative in our session activities with Dallas, even through telehealth. We also realized the purpose of thoroughly administering assessments to fully understand a child's needs. And we understand the importance of explaining the assessment purpose prior to administering the assessments to the parents. Special thanks to Dallas and her family, Anita, Tori, Amir, Story, and MJ, for participating in our project and allowing us to work with them for multiple sessions.